What's up guys, it's Carson, back here from Toxic Gaming today, and it's been a while from a video for anything on the channel, and we're going to start off, kicking off a new channel in 2018 and stuff, with our P4G Next Generation Draft Analysis. P4G is a league that was one of my friends, Kelly, he's in the PPL, under the radar and stuff. He's been kind of involved in the P4G original ones. The Next Generation stuff is basically P4G D2, but there was apparently a spot open, and I had to message Kelly about it, and hey, we're here. But we're here for the P4G draft analysis stuff. Just gonna go over the draft in general. You'll see stuff on your screen as we, like, where the mons were as we draft them, what tiers they were, and such. It is a tier style draft compared to like PPL being price style. This is tiered just like GBA stuff. The other thing is we do actually draft our own Z Crystal as well, so we have one Z Crystal to go amongst our entire team. Super Z, whatever we want to use. It's just one Z Crystal amongst our team. But to get started, there were 16 people in this draft, which is a lot more than I feel like I've ever been in. Like, I think maybe 18 would have been like more I've been in. I don't know. But there were 16, and we were pick number 9. And so I fucking hate being in the middle because it gives me a lot of anxiety to be in the middle of the draft. And so I decided with this draft not to really have a plan, so to speak, but just to kind of go and draft, you know, as we see shit happen and what falls to us and what we can come up with afterwards. Hey, my cat's here to join me. Hey, bud. But with our number 1 pick on P4G, well, our number 1 pick on our draft, we went with Zygarde 50, the Snake himself. Tier 1 pick. Figured we need, like, pick up a solid tier 1, solid dragon round 1, get something that is like, we have him on our team that people should be afraid of with Zygarde 50. For those of you who don't know what Zygarde 50 does, basically 1,000 arrows, E-speed machine. He gets the Dragon Dance option to make those really deadly, and then he can also go like a bulky set with like Coil, Rest Talk, 1,000 arrows. 1,000 arrows being a ground move and that can hit flying types is one of the best things I believe in the game. Like, its grounded is already strong in general, and especially Earthquake, but with 1,000 arrows being able to hit things like Skarm, things like basically any of the flying type, things like Celesteela, being able to hit them with 1,000 arrows rather than having to rely on some coverage move is super nice. And then E-Speed picks, like, if we get a DD up and all of a sudden, like, hey, we might get Revenge Kill by Night Shard, E-Speed, as it has that extra priority. I think it's like, Ice Shard is like +1 priority and E-Speed is +2. It's something like that where it goes before any other priority as well. So that's really cool. Finally, we have like a cool little tech option in 1,000 Ways as a trapping move for Zygarde to trap in things that maybe don't want to be in there. Like, hey, this is kind of a check, but not really. And then we have Corn Forcer to get rid of opponent's abilities altogether. Super nice tech for Zygarde to have. Also, I know like Glare is an option as well to paralyze things. Cool. Zygarde was our number 1 pick. I really liked it. So with our second pick, we took Ferrothorn to fix our Fairy Dragon Steel Core and such, start getting it going. And Ferrothorn was going to be really, really nice and good for us with the fact of it having rocks and spikes to be able to help Zygarde break through mons. Knocking out Focus Sashes will be really nice. A solid switch into anything most dragons want to do. Like, it'll force dragon carriers to either have to, or dragon mons on our opponent's teams to either carry fire coverage, in which they may not be able to run this if they want, or they're going to have a whole mod entirely kind of dedicated to Ferrothorn. Because basically, if you don't have a dedicated thing for Ferrothorn, like a way to deal with it, it will just sit there in front of your team and not give a shit. Like, it can T-Wave you. It pairs with Zygarde extremely well to do like the rocks and spikes, like I said, and can do that at will. And then with Leech Seed as well, just to get its own health back, Gyro Ball for surprise kills, and then the biggest surprise kill of them all with Explosion Ferrothorn. I've done it once, it paid off, but Ferrothorn was a mon that we really liked. Pairing Rocky Helmet with Iron Barbs can do a lot of recoil damage to physical threats that would threaten Zygarde especially. Biggest thing that comes to mind is like any dragon that decides to click Outrage. Like, any dragon that decides to click Outrage, I can bring Ferrothorn in against it if I need to and get Iron Barbs damage and hopefully probably Rocky Helmet damage against it as well. So Ferrothorn was going to be our solid steel type for our Fairy Dragon Steel Core. Next we have Primarina was our next pick. That was our fairy type to complete the core, And Primarina was really the one. Primarina and Zygarde 50, those were the two that I thought of, and then Ferrothorn just kind of slipped right on in there to work. But Primarina is a mon that I've heard so many good things about. Yet I've never used it, and I've never gone out of my way to watch it be used or see anything that it's really done. So I've heard all this stuff about it. I figure I'm going to draft it, see what happens, see what I can do with it. And Primarina, as I look through the stats and what it can do, it has extremely good wall-breaking potential. It's a special, like, Z thing, which I'll get into later, is pretty fucking nasty and just in general with Primarina. The one thing I like about that, I'll go and get into detail later of how we're setting it up, but I like that Primarina is a bulky web setter. If you look at our two, like, offensive mons right now, Primarina and Zygarde, both of them will benefit so much more from webs, and I have plans to get that in motion later on, that I was like, oh, fuck yeah, we're doing this. Like, you can slow down your opponent, whether with Glare, whether with T-Wave with Ferrothorn, or with webs. Primarina can just wreck things. And that's where I want to see what Primarina can truly do, because Primarina, even though it looks a little flamboyant, it's going to be named Aiden English. Because it's Rusev Day, and it's Happy Rusev Day. So that's what we're going to be doing with Primarina. Next on our draft, we actually went with a second grass type. We dipped into our free points for a second, and the reason I saw this was because if I was planning in the back of my head that I was going to be, like, setting up a lot of hazards with Ferrothorn, and setting up webs, and really if I get webs up, it forces my opponents to either Rapid Spin or Defog, and with how much Defog is, like, in the new Ultra Sun and Moon, like, when it got dispersed against a way, like, wider variety of mons, it's a lot more common now. So I wanted a mon that could kind of abuse the thing of Defog being there, and that was going to be Superior, being 113 speed, something that was really needed on our draft. Well, it's something above 110 with Superior speed. It's another win con with spikes. Like, you get spikes damage and then just one Leaf Storm, like basically one Leaf Storm boost, and all of a sudden Superior is a monster. And then one of the biggest selling points I like about Superior, especially in this, like, iteration of Gen 5, or Gen 6, 7, 8, whatever the fuck one we're in right now, I can't think. But the thing I like about it now is that it is a defog user itself. So, say, like, our opponent decided to see webs on us. We bring in Superior, we get now that contrary boost with the webs, and then I can defog when he gets, like, they get scared of Superior. I can defog myself to get rid of the webs for the rest of our team. We already have the stat boost, we already have the speed boost pretty much, and then we can go to town with Superior after that. But it getting defog, and then with contrary its ability, as I feel being kind of like an anti-defog, makes a really nice addition for Superior, especially on our team. Even with Ferrothorn, it's like Ferrothorn and Superior do totally different things in terms of a grass type we need. Really, Ferrothorn 9 times out of 10 isn't acting as our grass type, it's more acting as our steel type, so that's why I felt it was fine to be able to pick Ferrothorn here. Next with our draft, we kind of skipped our second tier 3, as you saw. We have 2 of those picks, and we skipped that and dipped into tier 4 because there was a mon here that I did not want to lose. I felt I needed this mon on this team to make it work, and that is Araquanid. I mentioned with Primarina that webs is the thing that we're going to be wanting to do, and Superior can be beneficial with that as well. Here's one of our web setters that is going to be a fucking monster with Araquanid. Basically, Banded Liquidation 2-hit KOs like 90% of things. Just things, not even specific mons or tiers, things 2-hit KO'd by Banded Liquidation. Water Bubble is kind of busted. There's other sets that Araquanid can give for us. Another one of mon that will be like, he has so much use on our team with the sticky webs being there. Like, I could bring him in, be banded, and just throw up sticky webs the first turn, force my opponent to have to deal with that later on, just pound away with liquidation. Like, liquidation Leech Seed is all Araquanid needs. Water Bubble, allowing it not to be burned, is one of the best things to give a physical attacker, especially with the magnitude of Araquanid's power that it gets from Water Bubble as well. So, like, Araquanid's going to be really important for us. And in most games, Araquanid's going to be the thing breaking down our walls so that Zygarde will get kills, and so some other mods on our team will get kills as well, especially Zygarde, like Superior and Prim. Araquanid's going to do very well for us. Next up, we had, I dipped into our Mega/Ultra pick. Basically, there's some mons that are, you could say, Uber mons, or mons that are a little bit more broken than in normal draft play that are in the ultra slot. They would cost you points from your free pool, and you wouldn't be able to get a mega with them. I was tempted to go out a few of them, but really by this point, a lot of the really broken ones were gone. And I was like, there was one mega I wanted, and that was going to be Mega Pidgeot. I wanted to see what Mega Pidgeot could do. But when I was looking at the draft, I was like, Mega Kangaskhan is just there. Like, Mega Kangaskhan is there at our 5th pick? What is that? Yeah, 5th pick, pretty much. Like, dude. Or no, our 6th pick. Fuck, even further down. Like, Mega Kangaskhan is going to be really nice for us. It's worth noting, we do not get Seismic Toss in this. Seismic Toss is busted for Kangaskhan, especially at level 50. But we do get access to Power Up Punch Mega Kangaskhan, which is going to be super nice. It's like a wall-breaking machine. Like, there's nothing else that Kangaskhan does better, I feel like, than just busting through walls. It's fat. It's definitely one of the fatter mons that I feel like for an attacking mon. And when you pair that with spikes and the priority fake outs that Mega Kang can do, it will just shred through defensive cores. Like, it's the point where Mega Kangaskhan can actually shred through things. That's really nice. Having a Ghost immunity, really cool. Gives me, the free quote-unquote switch into Mega Kang. And with the option of webs in our team already with Araquanid, and Mega Kang only being base 100 speed, like, that's going to be really nice to be able to abuse another mon to abuse throwing webs on our opponent's side. All of a sudden, now mons that are over 100 that are grounded now can't outspeed Mega Kang. Like, that's another thing that just brings Mega Kang all together on our team so far. Next up for our next pick, we went into Tier 3, picked up our second Tier 3 spot, and because we weren't going to go Mega Pidge, and when we went Mega Kang, I was like, okay, I still need a flying type. I feel like I could use one more mon that would be really nice with the Z Crystal I'm planning in the back of my head. I can't remember exactly what I was thinking of the Z Crystal at this point, but I knew I needed something that could be versatile in most things. And I wanted another Defogger. I wanted another mon that could get rid of hazards so that I didn't have to put that on Serp all the time. Tornadus Eye. Torn Eye is, I got very underrated by the way its stat distribution is. Torn T is looked at as a higher tier mon because it's bulkier, it gets Regenerator. Torn Eye, it's faster, a little bit bulkier, and gets Regenerator. Torn Eye is fucking power. Like, with 111 speed, that's already pretty fucking good. Like, that's already, again, above the 110s, really nice for us. But I think it's like 105 or 115, something like that, attack, and then 125 special attack. It's going to be super, super nice. Along with, we get Prankster as well with Torn T. Even with a little bit of a Prankster nerf, we can get Prankster defogs. That means that before our opponent like really has a chance to do anything else, he sets up hazards like, oh my god, what am I going to do? I can get a defog off on our opponent. And hidden tech, defog actually will let hurricanes hit more. Shout out to Shroomraver with the hurricanes. But lower evasiveness, I can hit hurricane. That would be really fun. Torn Eye also gives us a Defiant user. So with a one that's 15 attack, I see it now on my notes. With being a Defiant user, and if our opponent like has Intimidates for Zygarde and Mega Kang, I can bring in Torn, get that attack boost instead, and now have Torn with knockoff, superpower, all stuff like that. He also gives me another U-turner to get a U-turner to give me some momentum, and then nice tech and not priority support with Taunt and Tailwind is going to be really nice to go with Torn. Torn Eye, I feel like, is going to be pulling some shift that people don't expect. Our next mon on the trend of new mons with defog. There was a tier 5 mon, bottom tier if you want to call it that I was looking at newly gets defog and everything like that, and a really unique speed tier in Rotom. Regular, flat-ass, electric ghost Rotom. Fighting immunity, which can really help out with Ferrothorn and Mega Kang. That's going to be really useful. He's another good pivot, another Volt, and gives us a Volt switcher along with Torn, so I can pivot in between those two around with, Volt turn stuffs. A status abuser, which I really like because of having access to like T-Wave, Toxic, and Willow. 3 different statuses I can throw on my opponents. They may not know exactly which one's coming. Really interesting. Another new defogger in the world of Pokemon. Basically, defog getting like its widespread stuff is going to be super, super helpful for us overall. And then with a 91 speed tier, he could make an excellent Scarfer, that kind of like surprise Scarfer. People maybe won't be recognizing it, but he is faster than his other forms, so I can actually outspeed some of those other forms and get that extra speed, basically, especially against other Rotom, to get that Volt Switch out and get into my counter for Rotom, probably into my Zygarde to stop them from Volt Switching as well. Basically, Rotom is going to be really nice for us as a great pivot mon, and very, like, fucking price-worthy tier 5. I will take a tier 5 Rotom every day of the week. Next up, we needed a fire type. The fire type I was wanting originally would have fit in Torn Eye's spot in tier 3, and that was Blaziken. It worked really well for what I was wanting to do. Sadly, we got sniped for it pretty early on, basically right at the turn. I think it was the round before getting Araquanid. I think that's when we got sniped to Blaziken, somewhere around there. So this next mon is, I believe it was one of our free picks. Can't remember what tier it is. I think it's tier 4, but it's a Delphox. So Delphox is a mon that I've used it once in Meme League. We saw what it did there. Basically, it's breaking down steals for Primarina, for Araquanid, and Mega Kang. I know Primarina and Araquanid kind of can break down some steals themselves with water moves, but like, if you could just take a steal from 100% to 20% with Delphox, I think we're okay. But the coverage and dual stab for Delphox really works nice with our team. I can kind of basically go dual stab, and then whatever coverage moves I need on Delphox would be really nice. And then switcheroo opportunities with Specs and or Scarf Delphox will be really interesting to be able to like throw my opponent's team's chemistry off really nicely. We've used Delphox before. Like, it's a mon that I'm comfortable with using, and I can kind of gauge how I want to bring it to something. So it was a nice, solid pick for us, I felt like. Second to last, our second to last picks were kind of tossed up in the air for what we could do. We wanted another mon that was pretty fast, wanted something like a good dark type mon, and wanted a little bit more priority. And really, that fits Sneasel as our the second to last free points pick. We got priority spam with ice shards and fake out technically, so we now have 3 mons on our team with priority spam. Really one of the more powerful knockoff users. Like, it's seemingly underrated, I feel like, for knockoff users, but it's really nice. If we get a Sneasel with an SD, nice Swords Dance up, we could end up having a win con with Sneasel. And paired with Mega Kang, it'll break down a lot more walls for Mega Kang to actually really deal with, and say Mega Kang breaks things for Sneasel to pick off, vice versa. They will work. I feel like they can work really well together, even with the shared fighting weakness. I have the Rotom for that. I have a Primarina for that. I have other things that can cover that. So really, Sneasel, I wanted the good priority. We've used Sneasel again back in PPL D2 last season. Did pretty well for us back there too. Like, we did some pretty spicy things with Sneasel there. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. But then for our last pick, I was torn up in the air between 2 mons. I had to ask some of my friends to do this, to figure out this last pick, trying to figure out something. We ended going up the more offensive route, like the way to put a lot more offensive pressure on my opponents, with going Medicham as our last pick. Shinsuke throwing Kinshasas, doing that with Medicham. I almost said Megacham. But he's a solid base 80, which I believe is a speed tier that we didn't have either. Like, that's a speed. I think that might be that, or Araquanid's our slowest mon. Then I think the next one up is Primarina, then Medicham, which I'm perfectly okay with if we only have 2 mons under base 80. Like, I'm okay with that. Oh, Ferrothorn. Fucking forgot about the Ferrothorn. Either way. But for Medicham will be a nice Scarfer for us. Like, Scarf high jump kicks are gonna hurt literally everything. Bullet Punch gives us another form of priority. Like, we have now 4 mons with priority. Like, we have enough priority to go pretty well. And then Medicham will also be breaking down steel types for Mega Kang. So that's another thing that'll be really nice. It'll be breaking down fighting types for Mega Kang. It will be doing all of those things that can help Mega Kang out. It was kind of, toward the back end of our draft, kind of drifting more to helping Mega Kang. Zygarde, Ferrothorn, Primarina kind of work together perfectly as they are. Everything else kind of sorts to fit Kangaskhan to do his stuff and shenanigans. But finally, I know I picked the Z Crystal, I think right after Araquanid, or somewhere around there. I picked our Z Crystal, but I was going to save it for the end for you guys. We actually took Waterium Z the Water Z Crystal from the Water Trial. Basically, if you saw we drafted Araquanid, that's kind of a giveaway. We're taking Water Z Crystal. But not only does it help with Araquanid, because, like, Z Liquidation from Water Bubble Araquanid is gonna fucking kill something. Like, that's just gonna kill something. But then we also, with being water, we get Primarina's unique Z Crystal as well. That's how the league is set up. So, like, say you got Grass, I believe it's Grass, you technically then get, or if you got Ghost, you technically get, like, Decidueyes. If you got Dark, you would technically get Incineroars, stuff like that. I think the only one that's banned in that situation is Komodo, so because it's an Omni boosting item. But anyway, we can get Primarina's fucking massive Opera Bubble in the air dropping on people, which, again, just like Araquanid, is gonna do some fucking damage. The other reasons for Water EMZ that I actually like are Z Rain Dance. Z Rain Dance for most of my team, if you notice, if you do your searching, you can find out there's a lot of Mons on my team that get Rain Dance. When any one of them gets that speed boost, things are gonna happen. Like, there's gonna be some, like, panicking, I feel like, in my opponent's eyes for watching for Z Rain Dance. And then the final is, like, random Z Aquatails. Z Aquatail for coverage could be kind of interesting to see what happens. But really, the Water Z Crystal is here for Primarina and Araquanid. That's where it's going to be probably the most, because they're the best at abusing our Z Crystal. And again, I'll reiterate it for the end of the video. The Z Crystal can go on any of our Mons. Like, they can be any Mon, any, move. It just can't be like an Omni boosting move. But it's just that that's the only Z Crystal we get. So our opponents are able to know that all they're going to have is Water Z for our team, which is understandable. That's fine. But since it's the end, you can see our draft right there on your screen as well. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of our draft. I want to do a special shout out here at the end to my friends like David, Kyle, and Jolt, and Paul. They were the ones that helped me basically compile the notes for this team to be able to really try to give you guys as like cohesive and coherent draft analysis as possible. David and Joel were helping me in the draft process because I had a lot going on IRL at the time. So they were helping me going through that. So thank you to you guys. And guys, their links are going to be in the description below. So go check them out. Make sure you check out other members of P4G, New Gen, and stuff like that. I think we start, like, our first battles go up, like, the 17th-ish? Sometime next week, I believe, is when they go up. So be watching for that. I will be doing Team Builders as a separate video as well. They'll be based on Showdown, like, all the other Team Builders we have are. So those will be separate videos going out the day before the battle goes up. So you guys can see both of those. But without further ado, I haven't done this in a while, so gotta get used to it. I'm Carson, this is Toxic Gaming, and as always, you guys stay toxic. We'll see you guys.